Hi, I'm Angie from Creative Gift Packaging, and today we're here with Tiffany from Deco Mesh Obsession, and she's going to show us how to do a gravestone saddle with Deco Mesh and flowers. You can also use it as a centerpiece. The possibilities are endless. We're going to use a gravestone saddle. We're going to use some ties, a couple rolls of Deco Mesh, and some flowers, and this is going to be your end result. And this is just the same thing as this. You can just put it over your monument and push it together. And so we're going to show you how to do this step by step, so stay tuned.
So first thing we're going to do is we're going to bend the saddle so it stands up a little more. As you can tell, it's just barely standing. So what I like to do is just push down on both sides. Just enough to bend the legs to where it stands up and it's got a little bit of a bow or an arch to it. And it doesn't matter if it teeters or not, back and forth. So once you've got that done, what we're going to do is you can use tinsel roping, which is this. We sell it in several different colors. You can use that, but since we're doing a memorial saddle, I'm going to use the white star ties and the royal blue star ties just to give a little extra decoration. And you won't use a whole pack because I'm going to alternate the colors. So you'll just use a few out of each pack. Okay. And all you do is right here where these crosses meet, you will take your tie, slide it up through, give it a twist or two, and it's secured. And then we'll do a royal blue. And you also do one right here in the center, and it will kind of slide around, but once you get the mesh on, it'll stay in place.
So what you were telling them was the tinsel you can cut and make ties like that,
yeah,
except for, but you're going to use these stars as part of the decoration. So.
And if you use the tinsel, all you need to do is cut it about 8 inches to 10 inches long, just enough to where you'll have enough to twist around the mesh, because you won't see the actual tinsel when you have all the mesh on. And I'm just going to alternate the colors, that way it gives a little decoration.
And what she's showing you guys here to make, you can use for a Memorial Day. You could use it for just a regular grave anytime, for a serviceman, or like if your dad was in the military, it would be great for that. July the 4th.
You can also use these as mailbox toppers.
Oh yeah, that would be a great idea.
To where they sit on top of your mailbox.
So the little rubber feet help hold it on, but I guess if you put it over your mailbox, you probably want to tie it underneath your mailbox to keep it on.
I would use a zip tie or cable tie to secure it. And these are rust-proof saddles. They're galvanized, but I've had one on my grandmother's grave for about 6 months now, off and on, and it's been through all kinds of weather, and it's still.
So they last a long time.
Yeah,
you just have to change out your mesh and things. Yeah.
And you can reuse your saddle over and over and over. So if you wanted to change out the colors on it, you can do that. So all together you're going to need 15 ties on the saddle. You do 3 rows of 5. So now that we've got that done, I'm going to set it to the side, and I'm going to show you what to do with your mesh. And I've got 3 colors of mesh. I've got the red, white, and blue basket weave, the white iridescent sparkle, and the royal blue sparkle. And you can cut these with scissors. You just cut a 10-inch square. I like to use a rotary cutter because it's a lot quicker. So,
so we're going to show you how to cut a few of these, and then we're going to skip down to where we've already cut it. You know right off how many squares you cut?
You do 15 white, 15 royal, and 45 of the basket weave.
Okay.
So, and you just cut 10-inch squares.
And if you lay them on top of each other, each one it just kind of cuts it a little faster. I'll show you how to do one more, and then we're going to skip ahead to making them.
Okay, so what you're going to do, I start with the closest to me and work my way over. You'll take your curls, and I'll do one of the basket weave. Let me sit this. You just roll it like you would a curly Q wreath, and pinch it in your hand, and then I'll take the royal blue sparkle, kind of lay it over across, and then
people who have arthritis in their hands, they can use a clip or something to hold some of them while they're doing it.
Yeah, if you have a clothespin or a binder clip, that works really good. So you'll do the red, white, and blue basket weave, a royal blue, then another basket weave, and then the white iridescent sparkle, and just kind of crisscross them a little bit. That way when you put them in the tie, it'll all fluff up. And then you'll do one more of the basket weave. So that way they're all kind of crossed apart and spread out. And then you'll take and put it in your first set of ties, just like you would a wreath.
You're putting 5 loops in
I'm
each
putting
one.
5 curls to each one. Just give it a couple twists. And then I like to take and just kind of push it around just to get it out of my way for right now. Sometimes it'll stay over and sometimes it won't. Okay. So, once again, you just take and you just curl it. And you want to try and hold this as close to the center of the curl as possible, because if you have it to one side or the other, one side of your curl is going to be bigger than the other side. And you can do this in any color combination. You can do it with one solid color. You'll just need 4 rolls of it, or you can do it with 3 or 4 colors. It really just depends how decorative you want it.
Yeah, Tiffany, I've seen on your Etsy page you do ones for men with fish and deer and babies. You can do all kinds of different themes.
Yep, I've done a little bit of all of them.
It's really a great alternative to just your normal flowers, and it makes it give it a whole different look.
And it's really unique because you really don't see that many saddles with Deco Mesh in them. You see them, like you said, with flowers and things like that, but
okay, so you're going to do this on every single tie. You're just going to work your way up as you go. We might have to skip through to the end and show you after it's completed, then we'll skip till we can show you to the last one that's made and come back. So this is the very last row. You're fixing to do, and all you're doing is scooting it over, right? You're just pushing it back.
I'm just kind of pushing it back. It fluffs it up in the middle, plus it gives you more room to work with. Okay. I'm going to stand the saddle up just so it's a little easier for me. So I'm going to take Once again, just put the mesh in, give it a couple twists, and then fluff it up.
So it's basically just pushing it away from you and keep cramming it in there at the end.
Yep. These are really full, but you don't really want to go less mesh or less ties on it, because if you do, you have gaps. And then once we add the flowers, it'll give it a little more.
And as you guys can tell, you actually can see these stars here and there. But if you were using the garland like she showed you at first, you just cut your 10-inch pieces. You actually could use any color, and it would just, the mesh is going to overpower it, and you really wouldn't be able to see the ends if you can't find the color of garland that you need, or tinsel. So as you can tell, you can also use these as centerpieces on your table, because you don't see the actual gravestone saddle. So you could actually make this in anything, put it on your dining room table with your meals. Then it would also be a great centerpiece.
You can do them for Easter, your birthday, or birthdays. I think it would look cute if you did it for Easter and have a little set of bunny ears sticking out the middle, or some Easter eggs.
And you could even do burlap for weddings. Put you some flowers up top, and might be a cheap alternative to some centerpieces. She's almost done with all the mesh part of it, and then she's going to show you how to attach some flowers and make it a whole new look.
Yeah, because you can leave it as is, but we like to embellish a lot more. It gives it a more complete look. I actually cut one too many. Oh, no.
Okay, and so that's the last tie she's putting in. So you can see how full this is, and she's having to push it out of her way. So I guess that's the most complicated part of it, is just keep fitting it in there.
Okay. Alright. So once you got it done like that, you can either leave it to be just put on the grave like this, but we're going to add some flowers. And what I like to do before I add the flowers is I'll take and kind of tug on the sides, not really hard, just enough to kind of push the mesh down a little bit so it's not all crammed up in the middle, and that way it evens it out. So we're going to use this bush of flowers. We won't use the whole bush, we'll use most of it, but it's got some red roses, some of the white lilies, some hydrangeas, and then a little bit of wildflowers. And what I like to do is I'll count out how many roses are on the bush, because I really like roses. So let's see, there's one, and I start with each flower. I don't just stick them all in at once. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off all these. And you'll need a decent pair of wire cutters, heavy duty wire cutters, because the wires in these flowers are pretty thick. And try and leave them as long as possible, that way when you get to the end, you can bend them down underneath your frame. So the next step, I like to slide all the leaves up to the top of the flower. And once again, you might not use all these. I just went ahead and cut them all off. That way I'll have them. What I'm going to do, and I make an X across. So, and what I mean by that is I'll stick one down in the center, and I'm going to flip it over and show you what I do. You kind of get it to the height you want, and then you bend the stem. And that
You're
way,
just kind of bending it over just to leave it sitting there.
and then you'll take and you'll come straight down. You bend that as well. And I try and bend them all in the same directions, that way when I go to secure them to the saddle, they don't move around everywhere. And you'll go to the front. Well, sometimes you have to work it around a little bit to get it to where you want it. Okay. And then and these will stay in place once you secure them at the very end. So I'm going to put 5 of the roses in here for now, and then I might go back and add a few more. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stick another one in the center, because like I said, I like roses. Okay. And then I'll take and cut my lilies off. And this is just easier so you'll know how many flowers of each type you have. That way you won't get to the end and be missing a flower and need one. I've done that several times.
So you usually just use mixed bushes and just kind of a variety of flowers on each one.
Yep. That's usually what I use. So there's all the lilies. Once again, just slide your leaves up to the top of the stem. Just make sure not to pop your flower head off. I've done that before and it's went flying across the room.
And if you do not pop your flower head off, you do a little hot glue on the end. Always works too.
Okay, so I'm going to do kind of the same concept. I'm going to put the one white lily in the center, just to kind of separate the roses a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit in between each one. So there's one.
Yeah, if you're doing mothers, for Mother's Day, you can use any pastel colors or anything like that. If you are doing one for Father's Day, you can something like this. If they were in the military, you can do fishing, you can do hunting, you can do about anything they were into. You can incorporate into this.
Okay. So now we have our lilies. Like I said, you're not going to use all the flowers. I might go add those in a little bit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add the other white lily in the center. Okay, and then I'm going to do a couple of these little blue hydrangea stems. Once again, slide the leaves up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of place these just in the empty spots or gaps, kind of here, 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 and here. That way it just fills it in. And I'm still just sliding the leaves up, sliding the flower in, and then bending the stem under. And you can kind of move your flowers around a little bit before you secure them, and you can also move them afterwards. And you have these few wildflowers left over. I'm not going to stick them in here because this is pretty full already. So you'll have a few extra flowers left over that you can use on another project.
Those, what was left out of that bush would look pretty in a man's
If you wanted to do
arrangement.
one that was like chocolate, moss green, and burlap, those would look really good in there. Because you don't want the manly ones to be overpowered. Okay, so the next step that we're going to do is I've got a few cable ties or zip ties. I think they're 8 inches long. Yeah. You want some longer. You're going to cut some of it off, but that way you'll have enough to secure all your flowers. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just flip the saddle over. And I'm going to move, well, I've got my stems wrapped into my mesh. I'm going to move my mesh all the way, and as you can see, there is a lot of pieces of stems. What I like to do, I'll just grab all of them, pinch them together, and get them as close to the saddle frame, the metal bars, as you can, and you'll take your cable tie or zip tie, go around one of the metal bars, preferably the center one, that way your flowers will stay in the center. If you go to the left or the right, it's going to cause your flowers to move forward or backward. And you just secure that down. And make sure it's pretty tight, because if you don't, your flowers can slide out. You just clip that off. And I like to go through and make sure I don't have any stray stems that are gonna come apart or fall out. And then you'll take, like I said, sometimes you'll have to rearrange your flowers a little bit just to get them back to where you wanted them. From sitting it on top of it. And you can slide them around just a little bit to where they're where you want them.
Alright, so here is the end result, and this is what you end up with. You can use it as a centerpiece. For Easter, you can use pastel mesh, put some bunny ears, stick you some Easter eggs on it. For wedding, you could use burlap and lace and the color of flowers that you use in your wedding. This would be great for a patriotic centerpiece, for your Memorial Day, for July the 4th. Any military get-togethers or anything as such. You could use it Christmas time, Thanksgiving. And Tiffany's going to show you how that you would place it on a tombstone if you take it to the grave.
Okay. I showed you guys in the beginning to bend it, and all you would do is make sure when you get to your gravestone, just bend these rubber legs in just a little bit. They'll hold their shape. You just want it snug up against the headstone. That way, when it gets windy or anything, it doesn't blow off. And if you wanted to do it on a mailbox, you would do the same thing, but you would take a cable tie or zip tie and put it on your mailbox, spin it around, and then just take the cable tie and go through a couple of the feet and secure it to your mailbox that way. But like Angie said, the possibilities of these are endless. You could do a million different designs, and you can let your imagination run wild.
And so that's going to be the end of this video, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it for you. Be sure to subscribe to our channel, because that's where you're going to get the next videos. Like us on Facebook, and be sure to visit us at www.creativegiftpackaging.com, where you can purchase all these supplies. Thank you, and have a great day. Hi, I'm Angie from Creative Gift Package, and today we're here with Tiffany Vibert and Deco Mesh Obsession. See?
Vibert. Vibert.
Today we're here with Tiffany Vibert. Vibert. How do you pronounce your name?
Vibert.
Vibert?
Vibert.
So Vibert's how I want to say it. Okay, here we go again.
Oh, yeah.
Creative gift packaging, and today we're here with Tiffany from Deco Mesh Obsession. There's just the possibilities are. Now I had to start all over again.
Sorry.
I should sit down and write out what I'm gonna do, get my spiel together, and then start it again, right?
Yeah. Hit the like button.
Or
Give us a
whatever it
thumbs
is.
up.
Thumbs up. Channel. It's been nice. Get creative today.
It's been nice. Get creative today.
I probably need to do that again. That probably didn't sound too good, did it? April says she hates when I say get creative today. So what would you say?
Ta-da!
Okay. Now.